so my lovely wife was having to step in. And anyway, I have a lot of stuff to discuss tonight. Um, we're going to talk about the where the Rebel baseball team landed in the regional host or the regionals and all that stuff. We're going to talk a little about SEC football. Going to do a little best worst case scenarios for the upcoming season. Talk a little bit. Talk. We're going to talk a little. I'm going to talk a little bit of Rebel golf too. Um, they got the national championship coming up in a few days. Gonna be got a lot to talk about. Gonna be a big show. Gonna be a good show. Um, gonna get started here. Um, gonna start off with Rebel baseball. Um, I've been saying all year, like I like this team. They're a close knit team, an older team, especially for this day and age, and the transfer portal and all that. Um, we've got three great starting pitchers. Now they're not, they hadn't been perfect all season, but I wouldn't trade our three starting pitchers for anybody in the country. I may get some blowback on that, but I really believe that we have the best three starting pitchers in the rotation in the country. Our bullpen is not very bad either. I wish we had maybe one more arm to throw in there, but um, Hunter Elliott. Start with him. He's a big game pitcher. He's won a lot of big games at Ole Miss. Um, I think he'll pitch good in the Nebraska regional. It's a pretty big field. The gaps are deep, and I think if he pitches his B minus game, he'll be fine. And Hunter's been hit or miss this season, but to me, I like what I've seen. His last couple of starts, he's had a couple of good starts in there. He was just almost unhittable. Um, um, let's see. We're paired. Ole Miss is paired with Auburn. Um, so if we were to get out of this regional, which I think we're going to win this regional. Um, we're paired. Ole Miss is paired with Auburn, and Auburn's a good team, but they're a beatable team. This draw, I guess it could have been better maybe, but it also could have been way worse. If you had told me before the draw happened that we'd be paired up with Auburn, I would have probably taken it. Um, like I said, we're playing at Nebraska. Nebraska hadn't hosted a regional since I don't know. It's been a long time. '08, I think. And me saying that, it's kind of Ole Miss hadn't. We hadn't. This is kind of hard to believe. I saw this earlier. We hadn't. We hadn't hosted a super regional since 2009. Um, that's not good. But like I said, I like our draw. I like our pitching. Our bats are just good enough. And I think that this team can make a deep run in the postseason. I've been saying it all year. There's a few times here and there that um, I was kind of worried about it, worried about us. Um, but the bats, they've gotten better and better as the year has gone on. We still strike out a lot, but I think they're just good enough. And then we kind of get a kind of a tough draw with Arizona State. They're a historically good program. Um, I don't know. Some Rebel fans remember we played them. I can't remember if it was in a regional or super regional. Shit, that has probably been 15 years ago. Um, I remember we lost the first game out there in a heartbreaker, and then lost the second one. I think it was a super regional in Tempe. Um, but we got Arizona State first game. I was bitching about our draw to having like I said having to play a historically good program like them in the first game. But Nebraska's got to be really mad. I mean, you got Arizona State and Ole Miss um, in the regional, but like I said, big ballpark. This is the Nebraska regional is going to be a fun regional. We play late night the first game against Arizona State, 8 or 9 o'clock. I think 8 o'clock. Of course, it could be later than that, depending on how the other games go during the day. Um, but go Rebels, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season unfolds. Because look, once you get to regionals and super regionals, that's almost like a whole another season. Um, like I said, I've had a feeling about this team all year. I like our chances. Um, the other SEC host sites or the SEC host sites are Georgia, Auburn, Texas, Texas A&M, Florida, Mississippi State, and Alabama. Um, One thing I want to say, Texas, they always get the best draw, the easiest schedule in football, baseball, whatever it is. They're Texas is look. Texas deserves a good draw, but this draw they got is just absolutely laughable. Really, I mean, they got Tarleton State, Holy Cross, and UC Santa Barbara in their regional. Um, that's just about every other team that hosted got at least one other Power Five team in their regional. So Texas gets look. I'm sure Tarleton and Holy Cross and the Santa Barbara. I'm sure they did a hell of a job this year, but uh, I mean that's just laughable. The Texas draw just kind of stood out to me. Um, Arkansas kind of got hosed in a way. Well, I kind of maybe not hosed. Hosed is not the right word, but I kind of expected them to get a host spot. Um, they did not. They made a deep run in the SEC tournament. That lets you know right there that the committee don't put much stock in the SEC tournament. I guess they would have won the whole thing. They probably would have got the host, but um, let's see what else. Every SEC team made the field, um, except for LSU, Vandy, Missouri, and South Carolina. And LSU, I should have looked this up. I don't know when's the last time LSU missed the whole tournament, and they kind of joined that little club of the teams that win it all, like State, Ole Miss, LSU. Now LSU, the year after winning the whole thing, they took a huge step back. I don't know what it is. I mean, LSU was preseason ranked top five and everything every poll you could find. I just, like I said, I don't know what's going on with the teams that win at the previous year, and then the next year they just lay an egg. I mean, LSU, they were just good on paper, but just bad all year. Um, but I'm looking forward to seeing the. This is gonna be a fun tournament, regional, super regional, and I just got a feeling the Rebels are gonna get hot. Um, Kind of moving along here. Let's see. Ole Miss golf. We call this the wonderful wide world of golf segment. Um, Jackson Suber, former Ole Miss Rebel. Um, I think it was top three, top five. He got this weekend at the. I don't even call it the Byron Nelson anymore. That's what I'm going to call it. Um, he's one of the. I mean, he's playing some of the best golf on PGA, the actual PGA Tour than here lately than any Rebel golfer in Ole Miss history, really. Um, yeah, Jackson Seaver playing some really good golf on the PGA Tour. I can't wait to see what he can do next. Um, the number 10 Ole Miss Rebels. They just the golf team, number 10 Ole Miss Rebel golf team. They're coming off a top three finish at the Winston Salem Regional. Shot a combined 31 under for the weekend or the week. That's the seventh best score to par for a 3-day tournament in this Ole Miss history. Cam Tankersley is hot. Both Trolios are hot. Fisher's hot. I mean, his Fisher scoring average this year has been like he's on pace to break, I think, the school record for lowest scoring average um, in school history. And look, this team, I've been saying it all year, they can play with anybody. Early in the season, they were kind of inconsistent. They have found their footing. They look this team. They I say they've been inconsistent, but they've been ranked top 12, top 15 all year. They jumped a few spots when they won the SEC tournament, but this team can play with anybody. They almost won the whole thing last year. They had an individual national. We had they had an individual national champion last year, and Michael Lasasso, who joined inexplicably in the middle of the season, gave up a master's in as an amateur to join the soon to be defunct Live Golf League. And look, I really don't. We've said this 100 times on this show. I don't blame Lasasso for taking the bag, the money, but him giving up being able to play at Augusta as an amateur. The list of that is short. Amateurs who have gotten to play at Augusta, and I don't know. I can't believe he still can't believe he gave it up. Anyway, enough about him. Um, this team has a very good chance of winning the whole thing, and we got two or three players on this team that could win another individual title. Chris Malloy has built a wagon at in Oxford. He's got two individual national champions. He's still a young coach, and there's only 4 or 5 at the most coaches in the country, golf coaches that can say they've got multiple individual national champions. But I think this thing starts May the 29th here in a couple of days at Omni La Costa Resort and Spa. I think it's the same place it was at last year. So our team should know the course pretty good. Um, it's a 4-day event. It's kind of weird how they do it. It's they starts out match play and singles, and um, I think it's maybe some other type of format. And they kind of whittle the teams down. They starts out at 30 teams, and in 4 days' time, there's a national champion out of 30 teams. It's kind of like a kind of a free fall, really. And I enjoyed watching it last year. And the Ole Miss Rebels, they had a very good chance to win that thing, make the final pairing, final day or whatever, and just kind of let it slip away from them the last couple holes on the back nine. Um, but yes, that's the wonderful wide world of golf segment. Rebels have a big the national championships coming up, and it'll be on the Golf Channel, and I can't wait to watch it. Um, by the way, head over to Ole Miss 365 for all your all sports coverage. Really, David Johnson, the best writer in the business. The message board is starting to take form. Big things coming, especially for football season coming up, which will be here right around the corner. And that let's see. And speaking of, the last segment we're going to talk about tonight is what I did here was kind of not really picking SEC records for everybody. We're going to do that on a later episode. And let me say this first too. When football season gets here, we're going to be doing a Monday show, a live Wednesday, Thursday show somewhere, and then on Saturday I'm going to do a morning gambling show, a little 20-30 minute show, more gambling hour, whatever. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. And then we're going to do a post game reaction show to every Ole Miss game and SEC happenings and big game happenings. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, we're going to have a Monday show, weekend recap, a Thursday show looking ahead of the weekend, and then two live shows on Saturday, a gambling show on Saturday morning, and a recap SEC Ole Miss show on Saturday night. Um, but anyway, big things coming for Top Shelf Grilling and Ole Miss 365. So kind of stay tuned for that. SEC football, it'll be here before you know it. And like I said, I want this segment is going to be not necessarily picking this team's record, um, just kind of a best case scenario record for every team and a worst case scenario record for every team, and kind of picked out the key games for everybody too. I'm gonna start off. No sense in burying the lead. I'm gonna start off with the Ole Miss Rebels. Um, I think the high end for I'm gonna do kind of low end. I'm gonna do low end first. The low end for Ole Miss. I mean, we got a very tough schedule, folks. Every time I look at our schedule, it makes me more and more nervous. I mean, but anyway, the low end for Ole Miss, I want to go 7-5. If things don't go just right, have a couple injuries or two, I can see this team going 7-5 realistically. I mean, we got LSU, Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma. Don't discount at Vandy and Louisville. That first ball game, we better not sleepwalk through that one. New coach, tough schedule, but my low end I have Ole Miss 7-5. The high end I have Ole Miss 11-1. Because we have a very good team. We're talented across the defense is going to be better than it was last year. A lot better, I think. And the offense is going to be just as good. Now, the schedule is a lot tougher, I think. So anyway, Ole Miss high end 11-1, low end 7-5. Um, football will be here before you know it. Um, number two, this next thing I'm going to do is Mississippi State. And look, State has a tough. Mississippi State has a very tough schedule too. Start at the low end, 2-10. If they go 2-10, Jeff Levy's fired. Um, he kind of had some growing pains last year. He kind of they should have won 2 or 3 more games, I think. He tried to get too cute in some games, but I think in all in all he's a good coach. Um, like I said, tough schedule. I have they have their key games to me is Minnesota, South Carolina, Missouri, Vandy, and Auburn. If they can win a couple of those or a few of those, I can see them on the high end going 8-4. Kamario Taylor takes that next step. I guess I can see them winning 7 or 8 ball games. So on state, my high end 8-4, low end 2-10. This is the do or die year for Jeff Levy. Um, going to do Missouri next. The low end for them, I have them at 6-6, and their key games I have Kansas, Mississippi State, Florida, Ole Miss, Kentucky. Their schedule's kind of easy. So look, Drake was just a good coach. Like I've been saying that he gets kind of a lot of hate for being a goober or whatever you want to call him, but he's he's a winner. I mean, he's won 10 games, 9, 10 games multiple times at Missouri. Look, on them on their high end, I have Missouri going 10-2, and I kind of think they'll be closer to that 10-2 mark than my low end for them 6-6. Um, moving on here. Texas. Pretty tough schedule for a change. They usually get easy draws, easy schedule. Their low end, I have them going 6-6. High end, 11-1. Big year for Sark. He slips and goes. Sark goes 6-6. He's gonna get fired. He might get fired if he goes 8-4. Um, the key games are Ole Miss, A&M, Georgia. They got a pretty tough schedule. They got some Oklahoma too. Um, but I kind of see. I think Arch Manning got a lot of hate last year, but his offensive line was terrible. You could just see he got a lot of hate. He got a lot of hype for the season, and look, nobody could live up to that hype that Arch had put on him. But I think Texas is going to be good this year. I think they're going to be closer to 10-2, 11-1 than the low end at 6-6. Um, and moving on here to Arkansas, Ryan Silverfield, new coach. Um, he's got a good coaching staff. And they're trying to get NIL worked out. Arkansas's got a lot of money, but people think, well, we got a lot of money. Our NIL is going to be good. That's not really how it works. But look, I listen to a lot of Memphis radio, and they wasn't too. The Memphis fans were not. They were not upset when Silverfield left to go to Arkansas. They kind of took it as a good thing because he won 9, 10 games a few times at Memphis, but Memphis was also spending FedEx money, was also spending way more than any other non P4 school was. So, but I got them on the low end going 2-10. This is probably the biggest discrepancy I have out of all these. On the low end, I have them going 2-10. Um, on the high end, I have them going 9-3. Their key games are Utah, Tennessee, Missouri, Auburn, and South Carolina. They got a pretty easy schedule, so Silverfield kind of got a break for being a first year coach. Let's see here. Moving on to Tennessee, I got them on the low end going 5-7. They're high end 10-2. Key games, they got Georgia Tech, who's going to be good this year. Um, Texas, Bama, A&M, LSU, and Vandy. And a pretty tough schedule. Look, this is a big year for Heupel. See, I think he's a good coach. He gets kind of I don't know, kind of a little hate, but his offenses are always very good. Um, this is a big year for him. He were to go that 5. He goes towards my low end on the 5-7. He might get fired. Um, but I think they're going to be pretty good. Be closer to that 10-2 mark than the 5-7 mark. I think. Um, moving on here to A&M. Their schedule ain't that hard. But I got them the low end going 6-6, the high end going 9-3. I just don't think Reed's a very good quarterback. I like Elko as a coach, but um, their key games are LSU, Bama, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and A&M. Um, they better be ready to play this year. Um, but I think they'll probably finish 9-3, 8-4. Um, let's see. Moving on here to Oklahoma. And I really don't know what to think about them. Venables, great defensive coach. Their offenses are kind of middling. Now, Mateer was a freaking Heisman front runner 4 or 5 games into the season, and he came back too early, messed his hand or thumb up or something. He never was the same the rest of the season. Um, I have them on the low end, 5-7. They're high end, 10-2. And Oklahoma has a pretty easy schedule. They do play Michigan in non-conference. Um, but their key games to me is Michigan, Georgia, Texas, Florida, and Ole Miss. Um, I want to really see it, but if Mateer can find his first half of the season for him, I mean, Oklahoma's as good as anybody in the country. Um, let's see here. Moving on to Vanderbilt. This is kind of a rebuild, this kind of thing for Clark Lee. You know, he lost Diego Pavia, went pro, or he graduated or whatever. They got a very highly hot shot quarterback coming in, 5-star, who they flipped from Georgia. And I've been saying this right here. Here, I'll tell you how much the college landscape has changed. If I told you 2 years ago that Vandy would get a 5-star quarterback over Georgia, I mean, you would have called me crazy. Um, they got a pretty easy schedule. I'm gonna get their low end 4-8. They're high end 9-3, 8-4. They got their key games to me are NC State, Auburn, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Florida. Like I said, pretty easy schedule. If those are your key games, no offense, but um, okay. Moving on here to Kentucky, and I liked the Stein hire. You know, he came from Oregon, offensive coordinator, young guy, hot shot. He's only like 35 years old or something. Um, I don't know what. I just have a good feeling about this guy. But they got an easy schedule too. Won't go there. They're low end 3-9, high end 8-4. Their key games are South Carolina, Vandy, Tennessee, and Louisville. Woof. What I mean, what an easy schedule. The SEC gave a couple of their first year head coaches some in the silver field and Stein for pretty easy schedules for the first year in the league. I don't know if they did it on purpose or what, but okay, let's see here. Now on to LSU. Um, got them on the low end, 6-6. I'm just not sold on Sam Levitt. I still can't believe they gave him $3.5 million or whatever it was. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, he's an okay quarterback, but I mean, $3 million he threw for 70 yards against Mississippi State last year. Any State fan, I'm not talking throwing shade, any State fan will tell you that they had a terrible defense last year. And he threw for, especially a secondary, he threw for 75 yards against them. I mean, woof. Um, now, Kiffin is a great offensive coach. He's a great quarterbacks coach. But I mean, where's Lane's head at? He's worried about his ex and Ole Miss. He got grounded from Twitter for this insane comments, and he got drugged through the national media, which I thought was glorious. He tried to walk him back a couple times. He does the same. Seems like an article or some kind of a story. He reaches out to somebody trying to validate his reason for leaving Ole Miss almost at least 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, like I said, you know, he's acting like he did when his woman left him when the week of the Kentucky game 2 years ago. I mean, he's talks about Ole Miss. Before he got grounded from Twitter, all he was doing was tweeting about Ole Miss and um, doing articles with anybody who would listen to him about reasons why he left Ole Miss. I don't want to. I keep saying, I feel like an idiot because I really believed and bought into like he had changed. It was a different person and all that. But they got a tough schedule now. They're low end. I'm giving them 6-6. High end 10-2. Their key games are Clemson, Ole Miss, A&M, Bama, Texas, and Tennessee. Um, Maybe time for Ole Miss to take out a restraining order. He's no stranger to restraining orders either. But anywho, um, they spent a bunch of money. I just don't think I just don't think Levitt's that good of a quarterback. And I know I said I wasn't going to pick their record, people's record, but I got LSU going 8-4, but they could go as high as 10-2, I think, or as low as 6-6. Um, got a few teams here left. Bama, easy peasy schedule. Actually, embarrassing how easy their schedule is. Um, Big year for DeBoer. I think if he goes 8-4, 9-3, he'll go back up north or back out west somewhere and take a different job. You never want to be the man who follows a legend. That's an old rule of thumb. You want to be the man who follows the man who followed the legend. I may have just butchered that line. I don't know, but I got them on low end 6-6, high end 12-0. They're gonna go 10-2. I'm not real sure who their quarterback's gonna be, but they're gonna be pretty good. I think they could go like I said. I have them on high end 12-0, low end 6-6. Um, It'll be somewhere around 10-2 probably. But their key games are Florida State, a revenge game with Florida State, um, Georgia, Tennessee, A&M, and LSU. But like I said, they got a pretty easy schedule. Alabama's intriguing to me. They like I said, they're either gonna be boom or bust this year. Um, Moving on to Georgia, they got an easy schedule. Um, I got them on low end 8-4, high end 12-0. Kirby's the best defensive coach, best coach in the SEC. He's proven it. Now this NIL, he's kind of had some. I wouldn't necessarily say trouble, but they were fixing to be like the next Alabama if this NIL hadn't came along. But I got them on low end 8-4, high end 12-0. Their key games: Oklahoma, Bama, Florida, Ole Miss, and Georgia Tech. I'm gonna say this again about Georgia Tech. They're gonna be good this year. Um, Veteran quarterback. Um, Watch out for Georgia. Um, and let's see. I got three more teams left here. I think we're gonna do the Florida. New coach John Summerall. I think he's gonna be a good coach. He kind of said some weird, off-putting things when he got the job, but um, this is another first-year coach who I think got a break on the scheduling. Low end, I got them 4-8. High end 10-2. I think it'll be somewhere in between that. Um, like I said, the easy schedule. I got them. This is the biggest list I have so far for key games. I got their key games: Florida State, of course, Ole Miss, Auburn, Missouri, Tennessee. And I remember that Tennessee and Florida game was must-watch TV. Hell, 25 years ago. Georgia, Oklahoma, Vandy. Like I said, Georgia. Florida got a break in the schedule here. And look, some years you're going to have that. Ole Miss the past couple of seasons had a way easier schedule than what they've got this year. Um, okay, got two teams left here. Auburn, new coach, new quarterback. The coach and quarterback, came from South Florida. They had a good season last year. Upset a couple of people. Now Goalish, he only had one good season at South Florida. That's what was kind of a question mark. But he wasn't there very long. But one season, I kind of would like to see more than one season. But I got him on the low end going 2-10, high end 8-4. And their schedule, it's not easy, it's not tough, it's kind of middle of the road. I got their key games: Baylor, Florida, Vandy, uh, Tennessee, Arkansas, and State. I think I think they're going to go about 8-4 this year. I think they're going to surprise some people. A lot of people are not very high on them. I'm not saying I'm high on them, but I think they're going to be okay. Auburn always has a good defense. Um, can the Brown kid step up and replicate what he did at South Florida? He can run and pass the ball. Um, ready to see what kind of like I said, that's going to be intriguing to see what Auburn does. And how much time do they give this guy? Auburn, they're no stranger to firing coaches. I think you've had 4 or 5 coaches in 8 years or something like that. I got one team here left, and this is South Carolina. Big year for Shane Beamer, who I think's a good coach, but something about the fit. The fit ain't fitting or something at South Carolina. Like he's had a couple. He had a 9-win season or two. He's had some 4 and 5 win seasons. Um, Whether it's South Carolina or somewhere else, he's going to be a head coach for a long time and a good head coach for a long time. Lenore's Sellers, I do not get the hype. I've never gotten the hype other than a couple highlight plays here and there. I mean, what has he done? He's not a good passer. He can run. He's a physical specimen. I don't see I don't see what the hype is. Anyway, they got an easy schedule too. Low end, I have them going 3-9. High end, 9-3. It'll be somewhere 8-4, 9-3. I think. Now he'll probably save his job with that. If he goes 6-6 and loses to Clemson, he's probably gonna get fired. There's a lot of coaches now. I didn't really realize this when I dove into all this. There's several coaches. I'd say 4 or 5 coaches that are make or break have make or break seasons coming up. Um, South Carolina's key game. They got an easy schedule, like I said. Mississippi State, Kentucky, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Not Texas, excuse me, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Clemson. I think they're gonna have a pretty good team this year. I don't know why I think that, but I'm not sold on Sellers, but they got a pretty easy schedule. Um, yeah, well, football season will be here. It's about 100 days away or something like that. Week 0 is about 90 days away. Ole Miss and Louisville is about 100 days away. Going to be a good season, a fun season. Like I said, stay tuned for more big things coming from Top Shelf Grumbling. We're going to have some weekly guests this year. Some people you've heard of. Plus, we're going to have our idiots back on here at the weekly roundtable on Thursday nights. Doing a live show on Thursday night from Los Palmos Sports Bar here that's finna open up here in Pontotoc. And like I said, we're gonna be doing a Monday show, weekend recap show, a weekend preview show. Then on Saturday I'm gonna do a gambling show Saturday morning, and we're gonna do a live recap on Saturday nights as well. Check out Ole Miss 365. That's the best coverage you're gonna see anywhere in the Ole Miss world. Um, go over and go over there and subscribe to the website and enjoy the best coverage there is. And this, like I said, this it's only getting better and better. We just launched this thing in January, and we've come a long way so far. And Big things are coming. Ole Miss 365, top shelf grumbling. Ready to see the Rebel baseball team get things started. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed it. A little late night show here on Memorial Day. I think it's after 11 o'clock now. Um, anyway, that's about all I got tonight. Thank you to my lovely producer, my lovely wife, who, if y'all were on there at first or not, but the reason why I got a little grumbled, she, she,
She nothing.
the camera wouldn't turn right. It wouldn't let us go. And then it was on for some reason. Then it was telling us to move it. I don't know what was actually going on, but
It was actually his fault.
but maybe it was my fault. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed it. I thought it was a good show. Thank y'all for continuing to watch and listen or whatever. The Facebook page has been doing good. Everything's been doing good. Big things come. Big things coming. Long season. Long season. But thank y'all for all watching tonight. Hotty toddy and God bless.